Peace, family. Get a sip of water real quick. Peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope your Sunday or whatever day it is, wherever you're at, hope everything is going well. As always, when you come into the chat room, please hit the like button. Again, please hit the like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. It really means a lot. And I just want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for your support over the years. Once again, it really means a lot. And like I tell everyone, we ain't going nowhere. We are not going anywhere. We will be right here. Same bat channel, same bat time. We are not going anywhere. So hit that like button. Also make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. Have a couple of announcements, then we'll jump right into the topic. And in around 30 minutes or so, I'll put the link in the chat room where you guys could call in and add to the conversation. I don't think we've been live. It's been a couple of days, or maybe the last time we went live was maybe last Sunday. Yeah, I think it was last Sunday, the last time sorry about that. Last time we went live. So announcements, tours. We are traveling to Senegal, May 12th to the 22nd. May 12th to the 22nd, we are traveling to Senegal for the Jazz Festival, for the St. Louis Jazz Festival in Senegal. We will love to have you guys if you're interested in joining us. Again, if you are interested in joining us, please visit Danfo. Please visit Danfo, DANFO.Africa. Again, please visit Danfo, DANFO.Africa to learn more. Again, please visit Danfo, DANFO.Africa. I would greatly appreciate it. Shout out to King Joseph in the chat room. What's up, fam? Checking in from LA. I just finished my college winter classes. Shout out to you, King Joseph. How's football going? I guess King Joseph, what do you play? D tackle? You got the one gap. You cover the one gap, King Joseph. Shout out to South Fulton. Oh, shout out from South Fulton. Okay, city of South Fulton. Yeah, I was in South Fulton yesterday. Like I wasn't aware how, so the city of South Fulton, which is a newer, I don't know, what is it considered, incorporated city, or is it I don't know. So it's pretty much like parts of East Point, parts of Clayco, parts of College Park. I wasn't aware of how big it was, the city of South Fulton. So that's it's very interesting. But shout out to you. It's confusion because we technically live in College Park. Yeah, it's like parts of East Point. It's parts of College Park. It's parts of Clayton County. Parts of Fairburn, I think. So it's very. You're right. It's very confusing, the city of South Fulton. But shout out to the city of South Fulton. So we have Senegal in May. Then we have Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Again, we have Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. So if you're interested in joining us in Nigeria for the Oshun Festival, please visit Danfo. That's Danfo.Africa. Again, that's Danfo, that's DANFO.Africa to learn more. We will love to have you. Let's hear. Reality is made known by action. I rarely get responses to questions left in the comment section. This was particularly disappointing in the Sierra Leone citizenship episode. Hey, you know what I'm going to do, Malcolm? I'm going to put the link in the chat room right now. And if I missed your question, I apologize. Malcolm, link is in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. But usually when people have questions in regards to Sierra Leone, I always, in regards to Sierra Leone, travel to Sierra Leone, and its citizenship, I make it a point to always say, visit the site, send me an email, and include your phone number. Right? If I missed it, I apologize, Malcolm. So what I'm going to do right now, Malcolm, the link is in the chat room, Malcolm. If you want to call in and if you want to ask a question in regards to Sierra Leone citizenship, by all means, click the link, call in, and I'm here. I'm ready to answer your question. And if I missed your comment on that episode, I apologize. But listen, link is sometimes too what YouTube will do. They'll consider some comments and mark them as spam, so I won't see them. But Malcolm, we're here. Click on that link. You're more than welcome to call in right now, and I will answer your question. You can ask any question you want to. You can ask any question you want to, Malcolm. So that link's in the chat room, Malcolm, whenever you're ready. And if you have not bought my documentary, In Search of Uhuru, please go to search for Uhuru. I'm sorry. Yeah, go to searchforuhuru.com. Go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Again, please visit searchforuhuru.com. Please visit searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, let's jump into today's topic. We will start off with throwing out the baby with the bathwater, family. And I am surprised that we have to have this conversation. Shout out to T-Tukes in the chat room. I am surprised that we have to have this conversation as grown adults. All right, I am 41, approaching 42. I'll be 42 in April. And what I have came to realize, okay, is that we are diverse. We have a diverse way of thinking, each individual, and we are not going to agree on everything. But just because we don't agree, just because we might not agree on everything or just one thing, that does not mean that I will throw out the baby with the bathwater. That does not mean I will cancel you. That does not mean that our friendship is over. As long as you are a good, righteous person, you're an honorable man or woman, and we all make mistakes. We cool. But some people do not understand that. One person will overlook the many contributions of an individual, and just because they don't agree on something or they disagree on something, they are ready to completely ignore everything that person has contributed to and completely throw that person away, which does not make any sense to me. If someone for the majority of the time has given you value, right? And if you disagree with that person over one thing, like, why would you want to just completely shut that person out or ignore that person or cancel that person or expose that person? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, to each his own. To each his own. We're all different. Some people get triggered by different things. Some people could just be petty. But what might be petty to me might be important to you. So I'm in no position to call whatever is bothering you petty. And I think we should show empathy towards each other. But at the same time, like just canceling people over one little thing, I personally think it's ridiculous. And usually when people do that, they weren't really your friend. They had ulterior motives the whole time. And maybe because they didn't want to get, they couldn't get what they wanted out of you. They're using that one disagreement as reason to go after you. But it's whatever. It is what it is. We continue on. We will push on. We will continue to grow, continue to build, with or without you. Again, with or without you, we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to impact others and keep it pushing. Next topic, Pan-African symbolism versus Pan-African reality, okay? I did a video on this topic maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I was the first person to say Pan-Africanism without a checkbook is Pan-Africanism in vain. What do I mean? And I'm going to deal with Sierra Leone. And also we could add Ghana to the list. And really we could add every country in Africa to the list. The symbolism is your foot in the door. Okay? Africa realizes, or they know what happened in regards to the slave trade. So of course they're going to welcome you back with open arms, if that makes sense. But I think we've transcended that. And now it's time to have the conversations on how can this relationship between the diaspora and Africa, meaning when the diaspora returns home, okay, we realize what happened. We realize the slave trade. We realize what African Americans what we faced in America these past 400 years. We get it. Welcome home, brother. But now it's all about how can this relationship be a win-win? That's where we're at now. Leading with the symbolism and the emotionalism, it kind of has to stop. Like we transcended that now. And now we're to the point where we have to deal with reality. And the reality is the continent wants to know, how is this relationship going to be a win-win between us and the diaspora? That's where we're at now. Case in point, Sierra Leone. So they're going to make the requirements harder. They're tweaking the requirements, as I was told. They're going to make them more difficult. And during this past citizenship conferment process, they made it a point. Hey, we want you guys to come back and invest and help build. They made sure they continued to remind us that, like, hey, we are going to you guys are going to get your passports, but hey, how is this going to be a benefit, a win-win for Sierra Leone by granting you guys citizenship? That's where we're at now. And everybody's doing their part, but including myself, we have to step it up. Because if we don't step it up, the groups after us, is going to be harder for them. It's going to be harder for them to get their passports. So we have to set the standard and set the tempo. Hey, Mr. FL Lua, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. I appreciate you. And that's just what it is. Leading with the emotionalism and the symbolism, really the emotionalism. I should have said pan-African emotionalism versus pan-African reality. Leading with the emotionalism, that might not be the look moving forward. It's what can you, number one, freedom isn't free. So during this process, myself included and many others, their testimony is we've reconnected back to Africa. We've got our Sierra Leone passports. We're officially recognized now. We are free. We are experiencing freedom now. We have found our Uhuru. But freedom isn't free. We're going to have to do more. And then I bring up Ghana. The past 2 or 3 years, Ghana has had a citizenship conferment as well. I don't think they're having one this year. It's already December 17th, and they haven't had it yet, from my understanding. So a lot of these countries are like, okay, we're giving the diaspora passports. We have to figure out now how this is going to be a win-win for us. Guys, that's where we're at now. And again, we talk about how we built the pyramids. We talk about how we taught the white man how to bathe, and the Moors went to southern Europe and civilized the white man. The white man came to Egypt, and we educated the white man, all the Greek and Roman scholars. We built America. Now, folks, is we the Hebrew Israelites, we's the original Jews. We's the Blackfoot Indians, the original Olmecs. But how is that translating into development for sub-Saharan Africa in 2023? That's the question. That's the question. Larry, you make a good point, Larry. There's so much obsession with buying land in Africa. What's wrong with just buying a house? Larry, I'll have to build my own house because the majority, like the architecture in Africa, some of these houses I see, they're ugly as hell. Like, I don't know who designs these houses. They're just big, like I have to build my own house because the houses just aren't sexy. Like the houses that I see, they're just big, just blocks, and the roofs do all this and slant. And they're just, and I don't know. It's just, yeah, I would have to build my own house. So the majority of people who are buying land is with the intent to build, or some people are even land banking. Because new construction houses that I've seen in Africa, they're just not. It's like they try to do modern, but then it's mixed with like mid-century and craftsmen all in one. Like when you buy a new construction built single family home in Africa, it's going to be a mixture of modern, craftsman, Victorian, and mid-century all in one. And it's all over the place. Yeah, and that's the concern. Some people are getting their passports, dipping and not coming back. So now they're saying, okay, we're granting these passports to the diaspora in the name of, hey, you guys left here against your own free will. We want to receive you and integrate you. But how is that a win-win for Sierra Leone? So that's what's going on. And guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, link is in the chat room. Again, if you want to call in and add to the conversation, link is in the chat room. So if you want to call in, ask me anything, link is in the chat room. But yeah, so that's the concern. And it was brought up. It was brought up this round, this citizenship conferment round. It was brought up. So they're going to make the requirements harder for citizenship moving forward. What that looks like, I don't know yet. Again, what that looks like, I don't know yet. But it's going to be interesting. What do you mean Sierra Leone is beautiful? Sierra Leone has to do more to attract investors. It's not like it's the place to be. Man, Sierra Leone is beautiful. Oh, God, that country's so beautiful. Freetown is gorgeous. I mean, everything is there. You have beautiful beaches. I mean, you have everything you want in the country is there in Sierra Leone. You have beautiful beaches. Cost of living isn't too bad. It's just Sierra Leone is a naturally beautiful country. Go ahead, Theo. Theo, I can't hear you. Hold on.
Give me just a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, so you may have spoke to this, but what's your opinion on it, on Sierra Leone making it tougher for folks to get a passport?
I'm not sure when they say tougher. I don't know how that looks like, but I mean, you can't blame them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame them.
Right.
No, I'm not mad.
Yeah, that's something
because they're looking at it as if we wanted to get U.S. citizenship, look at the hoops and hurdles that we have to go through. So right now, for the diaspora to get citizenship in Sierra Leone is relatively easy. And
it almost seems, I don't know what you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Then in other countries, like if you want to get citizenship, say Malta, or I think like Cayman Islands or Turks and Caicos, you minimum dropping $200K.
Right.
And so our foot in was the emotional. Oh, we were taken from here against our own free will. We want to come back, accept us. They said okay, but then now it's like, all right, we're bringing you guys back. How is this going to be a win-win moving forward?
Right, which is fair. I've always thought it was fair. I get, the sentimental going back to Africa thing. I definitely do. But, sometimes you have to really think about that if you care about, the larger concept of Africa, African pan-Africanism. If you genuinely care, sometimes you got to be a little unselfish about it, right? And think from the other perspective, like what are you doing? How is your moving to Sierra Leone affecting the people who are already there? And how is it helping? Is it helping the people who are already there, right? And like you said, Africans they don't have the freedom we have, right? And it's almost kind of like, I ain't gonna say a slap in the face, but to just be able to get on a plane. I don't know what all the steps are, don't get me wrong, but to go to Africa, get citizenship, get a passport, and just leave. And now you just got that in your pocket just as, another privilege beyond what a lot of Africans have. Sometimes it just seems, I'm not saying it's unfair, but I can understand there needing to be a more stringent, process some type of way of like earning that, other than I was born black, my ancestries are from Africa, which is valid, as far as the connection. But if you listen to a lot of people, all skin folks ain't kin folks, and there can be some nefariousness in that mix of people trying to get a passport for other reasons.
Right.
So I think there's definitely I think that would be a right move on any government that has its people, at the heart of their interests.
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out, the next upcoming citizenship conferment ceremony. So, but like I said, as far as what the new requirements are going to be, I don't know.
As of now, what do you do?
So right now, currently, take a DNA test with African ancestry. If the results come back Sierra Leone in any part, then you're good. I mean, that's like the first step. Like if you don't have that, then there's no point in moving on to the next steps at all. So once you have that, you have to get with a licensed tour operator, which is me. I'm a licensed tour operator in Sierra Leone. Then you have to have 2 notarized reference letters. A letter of intent, pretty much like a cover letter, like why citizenship.
No background check.
A federal and state background check.
Oh, okay.
Your birth certificate, if you've legally changed your name, any name change addendums like me. Certificate of authenticity saying that your certificate from Sierra Leone is legit. Then I submit all that on your behalf.
Gotcha.
And then a copy of your your U.S. passport. And then you have to come to Sierra Leone. So I do the group tour because number one, people have never. I mean, the majority of people who come, that's their first time coming to Sierra Leone, and sometimes that's the first time coming to Africa. Period.
Right.
So I do the group tour. And the reason why I space like the tour is like 10 or 11 days is because you also have to attend a mandatory civics engagement meeting. Then you have to do biometrics. You do biometrics, fill out your passport paperwork, and then you have to get sworn in. So the last 2 ceremonies, the president didn't swear him in. It was the Ministry of Tourism, the head of the ministry. I'm sorry, immigration. Like, one year was in November. I'm sorry, in November. In April, it was the Ministry of head minister of tourism, head of tourism, and this time it was the head of immigration that did it.
Gotcha. Now, when you say the DNA test, as far as that goes, is there, DNA is? I mean, is it just a drop of like 1/16 of your?
As long as if it's what you take it through African ancestry, as long as a result comes back Sierra Leone, you're good.
I guess I've done ancestry. I haven't done African.
It has to be African ancestry. They won't accept any other DNA company for the most part.
Right, and is that because it follows your mitochondria DNA, like your?
No, from what I was told is the DNA test now. If they do accept a DNA test outside of African ancestry, it has to be specific matriarchal or patriarchal on the result from a reputable company. And so Ancestry and 23andMe, they don't do that. They just do percentages. And then it has to say your tribe as well.
Right. Because I'm just wondering, like, I don't know, I think about how, if you look at, the history of Africa and the sabotaging that's going on, even with people who are from, the area, but how, foreign countries have infiltrated societies and, use people to sabotage the country. How I just think about, how do you avoid allowing people in who haven't proven themselves, who don't necessarily have an interest in loyalty,
Well, again, it was the more emotional reason why, but now is shifting to win-win.
Right.
So, and I
Okay,
think
so
and they realize that, so that's why it's starting to shift. Go ahead, Mufasa.
no, what's going on, Diners, bro?
What's up,
How you
bro?
doing?
I'm good, man.
All good. So I wanted to challenge what you're saying a little bit or push back a little because so you just said win-win and then there's like a certain tone you're saying this with, but how is like right now is it a win-lose? That's where I'm confused because if you're bringing African Americans by the dozens to spend thousands of dollars in Sierra Leone in exchange for, I mean, it's citizenship. I'm not downplaying it, but financially speaking, just like a booklet of papers, and then
Well,
people.
it's more than a booklet of papers, bro. It's way
Okay,
more. Like,
educate me.
we can't minimize a passport as a booklet of papers because that a passport gives you
I was
the
saying financially speaking, though, in terms of cost on their behalf versus the cost that's being brought to them.
yeah, but it's more than a booklet of papers. You're getting citizenship, so you're getting the same rights as someone who was born in Sierra Leone, except outside of. I'm not sure if you could run for president. So it's more than
Hmm.
just a passport. You're becoming an actual citizen.
But where's the cost on their behalf is what I'm saying is if you have people that are bringing thousands of dollars and you're bringing them by the dozen, by the dozen, by the dozen, you're bringing these people, right? I don't see where does Sierra Leone lose in this situation? How do they
I
lose?
think it's more from a again, if we want to become citizens of America, we have to go through way more bigger hoops and hurdles.
Right.
And then they're comparing it to other countries as well. Like I said, with like Turks and Caicos or Cayman Islands, like any other country, you're starting at 150K.
Yeah, but that's it's okay. So if you want
I,
to come to America, you're coming to like the largest economy in the world. There's all type of business opportunity. There's like a chamber of commerce in every city. You get what I'm saying? Like when you come to America, they're gonna say, okay, now you have to invest. People are usually coming because they're looking for opportunity. But I feel like if it's gonna be put on the person, like, okay, look, now you have to invest. This is where I don't know the information. Is there something that's in return, or is there some type of incentive? Is something else coming with that? Um, if they're saying, okay, you're going to invest, is there something that you're getting as you invest? Because to me,
Right. So we have
okay,
there's a civics engagement meeting that everybody has to go through, and all those questions are answered as far as how to properly invest, where to, how you could do it, investment schemes via the government. So all that is answered.
okay, no, I get it. I just to me, I don't know. I just the tone seemed weird to me because it's like I don't know how are they losing when they're making money from people coming? It's bringing tourism, it's bringing attention.
what well, you got to think about it. Like money doesn't solve all problems, right? So bringing money in can mean taking resources out or driving up the cost for the locals. So
In this case, how does
that's
that happen?
well, let's say buying real estate, right? If you coming in
Well,
with
hold on.
dollars, right,
They
and
want
you
that,
have,
right? Don't they
well,
want us to do that?
well, hold on.
Okay.
So if you got a few individuals who control, a lot of the land, and their preference for selling that land becomes Americans coming over with dollars, well, that does a disservice to the locals who are trying to save up money to buy a home at some point. So stuff like that. So it can benefit the merchants, it can benefit those who have things to sell, but you got to think about the working folks who don't necessarily have something to sell. They're trying to work, make an income so that they can actually afford a living. So when you bring people in with more money, it drives up the cost. And
Yeah,
so,
but what I'm saying is what they want people to come in, invest, and build. I have no problem with that. I
well,
want that too.
building is
But
one
my
thing.
only issue is that I don't want our tourism dollar downplayed and kind of looked at like, You know what I'm saying? We can't be bringing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. We can't be bringing a bunch of money to you, and you looking at us like, nigga, please. Like, wait a minute, bro. We giving you something.
They're
Not
they're
act
not
like
doing,
we ain't doing nothing.
no, but
Go ahead.
Mufasa, they're not doing that. But I mean, this is the thing, Mufasa. I mean, black people are going to spend money anyway on tourism. So I think the idea, like, okay, we're coming with our tourism dollars, therefore, you should give us passport. You should give us passports on the strength of that alone. When we're gonna blow money anyway, going to Tulum, Mexico, freaking Bali, where folks don't give a. I mean, you're not gonna get none of that shit anyway. Yeah, I just don't think that's a fair.
And if you're going to be a tourist, just be a tourist.
Yeah, like, I mean, black folks are gonna travel and blow money. I see them in Greece, I see them in France. I see they're everywhere, blowing money regardless.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the whole point of this is that you invest and move and things like that. It's not. It's not about the historical connection. It's more about wanting to generate.
Like I said, we're transcend from the way I look at it, and from what I hear and what I'm observing in like the conversations I've had. It's sort of, we're transcending out of, or shifting out of the, okay, we realize what happened with the slave trade, to how is this a win-win for us, or what can you do what can you bring to our country?
I mean, as long as that's what's being said before you get the passport and everybody's cool with that, I have no problem with that. That makes sense to me. I don't think anyone's losing. Even if people come through, let's say you do the tour, you get the citizenship, and then you never think about Sierra Leone again. At the very least, some money got brought in. But
that they don't want that. Like, they don't want that.
Then that's fair. That's fair if that's said up front. You see what I'm saying? It's like, hey, look, if you want this passport, this is the idea. If that's what they're shifting to, I don't have any problem with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so many aspects, right? Because you don't want it to. I mean, it's just thinking about it again in a more way that if you care about the idea, it being beneficial, not just from a selfish aspect, you don't want stuff like that to become for sale, like simply for sale,
And see, and that's what they don't want, Mufasa. Like me, like even before I got my Sierra Leone passport, I made a commitment to Sierra Leone. Like, listen, I'm going to focus on tourism and hospitality. And so I was going back and forth doing that, and then the passport opportunity came up. So I just think, just to be honest, some people just come and they see it. And they're like, listen, people are coming, getting their passports, they ain't coming back. Or they're coming, they're complaining about Sierra Leone, when it should be like, okay, if you have complaints, you should be the solution.
No, I hear that.
Which I think is legit.
If that's what they want, and they're not meeting expectations, that's one thing. I guess my point, I mean, I've already made my statement, basically. Like, people bringing money and attention to Sierra Leone and reconnecting, with the country and getting citizenship. And then if some of them invest, that's fine. But if they don't, it's not as if Sierra Leone is at a loss from how I see it. You know what I mean? But if that's not their expectation, and it's a certain amount of investment, and they're upfront with that, maybe that's what they'll do from here on out. Just say, hey, we want this amount. That's why all these other countries you mentioned, it's done that way. Like, hey, you invest this much, then you get this passport. That's how it's done. If that's what they're going to move to, that ain't nothing new. But it wouldn't be really about going back and connecting with your roots. It wouldn't really be the same. It would be just like those other opportunities. But they have the right to do that. It could be
both, though, right? Can it be both?
It could be both. Maybe they'll lower it or something. It could be both.
Well, no, yeah, I
don't think it's going to be on the level of like Turks and Caicos or Cayman Islands. I just think they just want to make sure that the diaspora who's returning is actually contributing. In which way, I don't know. But again, folks are getting their passports and dipping and never coming back. And they're just like, look.
What's the point?
What's the point? Right. Because other countries, and see, the thing is, Mufasa, this is the thing, Mufasa, other countries are watching. So Guinea-Bissau, they were supposed to do something similar, but that, I mean, that's on hold indefinitely. Then you have Ghana. Ghana's kind of put it on pause. So other countries are watching. They're just like, what's the point?
I mean, think about this. Like, if you're an American and you move to another country and work in that country, you still got to pay taxes to America. Like, America makes you have to pay to be an American. It doesn't, you have to like contribute. Let me say it like that. Even if you're out of the country, you hold American citizenship and you make money somewhere else in the world, you still got to send money home for being a citizen. These other countries, they seem a little bit easier, right? Like, you can go get citizenship, come back to America, you're a citizen over here, so you can get the benefits when it benefits you, but then when it doesn't, you're in America chilling. Like that, it just doesn't,
Yeah,
it don't seem
there's a
fair.
lot of services that go along with America. Like, say for instance, I'm an American citizen and I'm in this country. There's
Mhm.
like embassy services there, like you've seen evacuation services there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I doubt that if they evacuate America, I doubt that Sierra Leone's gonna like send a helicopter, and you know what I'm saying.
But that's
So
where they
it's a little
still
more
want to get to that point, though, right? And so to
right.
get to that point, they should have things in place that allow people to contribute in a way that they can actually, instead of being overburdened, you got all of these people with citizenship who don't contribute, but yet as a government, you're supposed to respond to your citizens.
Right. There's somebody else on the panel. I don't know if they
Yeah, let
want
me
to.
go ahead, Ola. Unmute yourself, Ola.
Oh, thank you, Dennis. Uh, I don't think Americans understand that, when you have, you see, when Sierra Leone decided to start giving this passport out, they feel that you have an exit point. You can't be in prison anymore. Like, oh, we don't have an exit point. You have an exit point, and they also expect you maybe to feel more like their own people. What I mean that is, you can come and invest, build your house, make it like a home for you, set up some businesses, do some certain things. You understand? That's what they expect, you know. But it would take some time because uh, the Black Americans are getting this passport, which is their right. They don't understand that yet because maybe the government did bring out like, okay, we give you that, like if you want to have a passport of Portugal, that's okay. You want so amount of money, you can pay so amount of money investment, maybe 500,000, 1 million. But I don't think the Sierra government see it as we're giving our people passport. They would do like our own children what they're doing, which is some Sierra Leoneans going there to invest, build houses, set up kind of like an event that they will pass over to their family. You have to say, Africa, when they build anything or invest in anything, so if you're a citizen, you have right to that land till you die. You have right to that land to pass to your children. So if you don't think like that, you want to take it like an American form, or what am I benefiting for them? At least you have a homeland. You have a homeland that compared to whereby the Mexicans and the Latinos want to choke you up in America. You understand me? Now you have a homeland now. There's no other excuse. So if they give it to you, they see you as part of them. They see you is these are our relative, these are our own children. So if you have that passport and you might not decide to just come and stay there. At least see it as your second home. See it as a home that you might come to retire. What's that? You have to come and build your house, build your family house, maybe do some small investment there, or even the community you build out, which whereby at least before they start you give you this passport, you belong to a certain tribe there. That's what they base it on, depend on the tribe you're coming from. Those that just give it out, okay, you Sierra Leone now. They said now, okay, if you're Temen, you're Temen. You got a passport now. So you can go to Temen, buy a land in Temen, because you're already a Temen that's by tribe that build a house there. If you want to start contributing to the community in that village, where you're coming from to the elderly man there, that depends on you. But at least they expect you to set up at least mini business there, mini marketing that will benefit people in the village where you're coming from. If you want to build your house in the capital, it's also depend on you. If you want to open some mini business there, also you can have some supermarket there. How would it feel? Okay, you have the passport now. I understand some of them might be blaming, oh no, Lebanese own stores there. How about the Lebanese that are staying there, making millions of money there? That's a lot of money the Lebanese are making there. Lebanese of us, oh, I'm not from here. I cannot do business here. So now you have the American dollar. Now you have the passport. Nobody's going to deport you. Nobody will say, oh, go back to America. No, because you're from there. You belong to a tribe there. So the sky is your limit there. Not like, oh, what am I going? Yeah, you know already when you go, when you were going there, that their healthcare is not so that perfect. If you're going there, you don't have to put yourself at the risk whereby you have to go to Afghanistan, but they will kidnap you there. You say, oh, why is the government it's not going to free me? You just have to behave and see it as your second home because they receive you as a family, as part of their tribe. So anybody asks where you're from, if you're there, I'm from Temen. Temen is Temen. You can, if you want to own the whole of Serelu, it's all depend on you. Nobody's going to chase you out. If you die, your children will take over from you. That's just it all. That's just we Africans have emotions. So it will take some time for these people start having emotion towards those places. It's all about emotions. The emotions might be in the United States. I think it will take some time before they start building that emotion towards, okay, I got this passport. What am I really going to do with it? Just like in Africa who come to the United States. Do you know what he's doing when they have an American passport? He want to build mansions in Africa.
Let me read this.
That what he's trying to do and set up a very powerful company in Africa where he's coming from. So that American passport is giving him a place to build his wealth in Africa where he's coming from. So Black America have to see it also. Okay, now I cannot complain anymore. I'll be hold back. Let me make this money. I'll go buy a cheese. Nobody will discriminate against me. That's just all.
Let me read this. But yes, Sierra Leone has a lot of work to do in order to gain investor confidence. Let me to gain investor confidence. Let me read Marie's. So Marie's Sierra Leone like me. She got her passport through the same process as me. I invested in farming, poultry farming, and I have 75 chickens so far, and they will be producing eggs soon. So guys, like you don't need Sierra Leone investor confidence, right? To do what I'm doing and to do what Marie is doing in Sierra Leone. Like Sierra Leone doesn't have to be ranked number one in the world in regards to investor confidence to just invest in a small poultry farm from a local that you met while you're in Sierra Leone. Now, let me say this. Let me give a disclaimer. Invest at your own risk. Make sure you properly screen all your investments. This is not investment advice. Please do your own research. But still, you don't need like when I decided to bring people to Sierra Leone, even before the citizenship process, I didn't need to research investor, confidence. I'm bringing people to enjoy the beautiful country of Sierra Leone. Go ahead, Shah.
A few things come to mind. I like what my brother said. It gives that welcoming feeling and a view from the people there when he's talking about how it can be, the land can be given or willed to your descendants and becoming part of the people. That's all great. That's a good feeling and everything, and that's important. But some of the questions that I'm hearing people asking, which is, ridiculous and extreme, and, like Africans owe us reparations and that kind of craziness. I think about that in a way and I go, in what part of that makes sense? None of it, but I will have to say that if you take into consideration the few that were involved in that slave trade, for lack of better words, it wasn't really a trade. were really the royals, the ruling families were involved in that part. And that was the exception to the rule. Most Africans were not involved in that part of trading and benefiting from that financially or politically. But for me, if you have 300 years of this mass depopulation of your people for the reasons we know, and the country is now saying, well, what's the mutual benefit for us all? And they've only done it for 4 years, 5 years. I think that is not enough time. I think it should be more consideration for the people that have been taken from the place, the descendants of those people have been taken from the place. As well, we need to take into consideration when we're going to these African countries, which I will be going, how the management of the country is going. Something needs to be said about, and this is what Black to Africa was saying, they're charging a lot of money for houses in Ghana. And so, but do they have the infrastructure that warrants charging, the types of prices that they're charging for houses? And I'm using Ghana as an example. Sierra Leone is not the same. And then, are they mismanaging the country? These are considerations that a person needs to make before they decide to sign a dotted line. What are they putting into the infrastructure? Are they beefing up the grid, or what's the power situation like? Is the leaders of the country, the main leaders of the country, buying yachts, having chateaus in France, just, kind of crazy stuff like that, which I don't think that's the case in Sierra Leone, but I don't know. I haven't really done my homework on that level. So all of these considerations, I think we need to take into the mind and heart.
And Dennis, it's not that I don't agree with you when you say you don't have to, Africa doesn't have to be investment. I forget what the phrase was about investment that somebody was making. Almost like Africa needs to prove that it's investment worthy, I guess. However, with you, there's different types of investment, right? So with yours, you don't have any investment in capital as far as like structure on the ground that would ever be jeopardized. So your business is kind of you, even though your business is via Sierra Leone, you are the business, right? So you don't have anything at stake on the ground to be lost, right? You could just cut your losses, or something happened where you couldn't travel to Sierra Leone. You just wouldn't be traveling to Sierra Leone. There wouldn't be nothing on the ground that you would be worried about as a loss. Whereas if somebody invested in a farm and something happened, and I'm not saying it would, but I can understand where somebody would have that concern. If they invested in a farm and let's say something did happen and they, the people who were managing their farms could no longer manage it. They couldn't travel to the country. The land became, if they had a bunch of chickens and cows that wasn't, or a lot of produce that they invested in taking care of and growing, and it just went to the bad, that's a possible loss. So that's a concern, but I think that's a concern anywhere. I think the reason why people say that about Sierra Leone is because it's an African country, and the idea of coups and wars and the corruption and stuff like that.
Hold on. Look. You speaking now. Look. Sometimes this kind of things irritates us Africans. Look, there's Lebanese who live in some of these African countries. I give an example. Do you know why Ghana people sometimes with this Black America buy land in Ghana, sometimes it's been taken away from them because they're not citizens? If you're not a citizen of a country, I would myself ask you, never buy a land if you're not citizen. Mm-hmm. Investment, if you invest in the country, right? Let's say you're not a citizen of Sierra Leone. Now you came from a tribe. You're not just another citizen like a Lebanese who are just honorary, honorary citizen. Before you become what I see, I'm not from Sierra Leone, I'm from Nigeria. What I see, before you become a citizen of Sierra Leone, you must have to prove a DNA test that you're from Soseri tribe. Then, when you prove that you're from Soseri tribe, then I give you a citizen based on that tribe where you're coming from. Automatically, now tribes matter a lot in some of these African countries. So you now belong to that tribe. Now you're not going to see the chief. The chief will welcome you. If you have anything to give to the chief, nothing too expensive. It can be like Koyank. It can be Johnny Waka. It can be just cola nut. Maybe with you, it can be $500. It can be $300. Just say, Chief, I'm here, your son. All this is matter a lot. Look, Africa is not like United States. No matter how you want to put it out, how you want to explain it, it's not going to work. It's not United States. It's still a tribal society. When you're a tribal society, then the tribal men will say, oh, you are welcome, my son. Or if you have wife or children, say, oh, you are welcome, my family. If you want to buy a land there, they will sell you a land. If you want to open a business there and you want the community to be involved, they might contribute a land for you. Then you can bring the business there, whatever you want to do, as long as it benefits the community. If it's sawmill, if it's poultry, if it's a large poultry, if it's anything that can at least employ 10 people or 5 people, they will do it. They will gladly do it because you bring in development to their place. That might even make them lead you to have maybe chief at the title. If you want to go to the capital, work on Freetown, and you want to open supermarket there, you can do that also. So others will say, oh, why this, not safe, that safe, coop, and everything. These are like, if a white man wants to invest, it will invest with societies. It will invest without say every investment is a risk. You understand me? Every business is a risk.
Yeah,
There's no business that does contain risk. Not how you want to bring must it riskable or not riskable, how you want to cut your loss, cut your loss. If you invest in anything, even United States, it's your own risk.
It's a risk. It's a risk, brother.
So it's you have to manage your business. Now you are a citizen now. There's nobody going to rip you off. That you have no power. You have bank account. You have everything you want as a citizen of a country. So before you start going there, what do you see? Why are you going to take a passport of somewhere if you're not connected to the place? It's an emotional something. So if you're Black American, you're not connected to Africa, don't just go there and start asking for their passport. It's not a sideshow. It's not who get to the get. Before you start taking that passport, you're already there. So don't get a passport and say, oh man, I got this passport, Sierra Leone. Let me go and keep it now. Man,
that goes back to Donna's point about like how some of these other countries do. They require, a lot of them, some of them, $200,000 investment to get not even a lifetime, visa. You're talking about sometimes it's only good for 10 years or, where you have to like show investment to get a visa. Never mind a passport.
Yeah,
and citizenship. Never mind citizenship, right? Because it's a difference between getting a 10-year visa or residency and a pass for actual citizenship. But people have to, a lot of countries make it so that when people are coming in, they're either they got some type of, they're a doctor or they got some type of expertise that they're offering, some type of skill or some form of investment that's going to actually contribute to the society, which to me is fair. That's a fair thing to ask. I mean, I get, there's asylum seekers and, people who seek refuge for other reasons. And there's a process for that. And then, right, what's different here is the ancestry. Like this is very unique, right? We got to say like African Americans and the idea of repatriation is unique in the sense that there's really no other people trying to repatriate somewhere in the same type of manner with the same type of sentiment, that goes between Africans and African American, or Africa and African Americans, right? Nobody's really offering that. Well, Africa, Sierra Leone specifically, and Ghana, I guess to a certain extent, nobody's really offering that to another diaspora, I don't think, in the world. So there's a lot of learning. I think these countries that offer it is going to have to do, and I think there's a lot of learning that people who are looking to do it is going to have to do, and people are going to have to like conclude what their why is in making that move, and how that impacts them and how it impacts the place they're going, because there's going to be an impact, right?
Now I
And
understand what you're saying. Because yeah, the two you and Ola kind of win. I just wanted to jump in real quick because I got to get back to
okay,
work.
no
But
problem.
yeah, so my issue was that the show was started out by saying it's time to move past the sentimental aspect, right? So when you're saying, oh, you have a home there, oh, you have somewhere, you're one of us, well, that's also sentimental. You know what I mean? So once we remove the sentimental aspect, they want to be careful about that. We can't fully take that out, because without the sentimental aspect, how many African Americans even care about going to Sierra Leone at all? The sentimental aspect is actually core to the whole deal, to be
Right.
honest. But if we remove the sentimental aspect, now we got to talk business. Now we do got to talk about investor confidence. We do have to talk about return on investment. What type of privileges are coming with this commitment that we're going to make, right? You want us to invest if we get this passport. That's a financial commitment. And now we have to talk business. Why are you better than the next country? You see what I'm saying? Because there are plenty of countries where you invest, you put a certain amount into investment and you can get citizenship. You see what I'm saying? So I
Mhm.
have no problem with what they're doing, but you do have to take these things into account. Once you say, hey, well, listen, all right, we get the whole thing, slavery, whatever. Once we downplay that, now we got to talk business, and then that's not the best playing field. So we don't want to throw that too much out of the picture. Otherwise, I don't see the relevance to Sierra Leone if we throw that out of the picture.
Especially considering the infrastructure of the country at this development stage in their development. I mean, are they able to provide power 24/7?
Yeah, but Sean, but this is the problem.
But
Omar
yeah,
brings it up. Like these other groups of people, when they come over, like you don't understand the number of white people I'm seeing in Sierra
they
Leone.
bring the power.
Yeah, yeah,
Guys,
they
They
not
bring the power.
concerned about infrastructure and
you guys don't have a clue about what's going on in Sierra Leone, man. It's complex, brother. It's complex. I'm a
Enlighten us,
Sierra
bro.
Leonean myself. You understand me? When I first came to the United States, there's always a structure where before I become a citizen of the United States, I have to sign documents where if America gets to war and I was drafted, I have to show up. It's a
Okay.
duty. You understand me? Same thing to Sierra Leone. When you sign to become a citizen, you don't just hold that passport just to hold it. You have a duty now. Basically, nobody's forcing you. But the way the country is right now, they are in a desperate need of skills. The country is trying to build itself back from a 10 years of war, which have ravaged the whole country. And from that war, now we're actually seeing peace for prolonged of time. So that's a progress. So now we're trying to start something which is going to bring jobs for people, like industrialization to help the young youth. So the only people, the ones in the country, we only have like maybe 10% who are actually extremely educated. And then the 80% are just buffoon. I'm not going to call them buffoons, but they're just ignorant, basically, educationally. So once you have that kind of problem, what the president is trying to fix is make education free, so that way you can have more balance when it comes to educational structure. That means the
Yeah,
80% is going to shrink down to maybe 50%.
yeah, but
But they expect basically African Americans that are coming here. Most of them have to have some kind of experts in certain field. Come and share your expertise. That's all, and then make bunkers of money, brother. You're gonna be the boss. You're the one who's gonna run that company. You pay your taxes. Boom, you become multimillionaire in America, because some of those contracts over there, there are white people who are coming to invest. They're gonna pay you in dollars, but at least you're sharing your skills. You're helping your people. You're helping yourself. Win-win situation.
Okay, I
That's
get.
all Sierra Leone is asking for.
I can get with the whole come back and share your expertise. I like that. I think, and sincerely, I do like that part of coming and being productive. But let's set the real story right, which is, you're coming back from 100 years of colonization and 300 years of depopulating and the total Holocaust to your region from slavery. That's what you're coming back from. And the difference between you coming here as an immigrant to the United States and me returning home and me being able to show that I am of those of genetically of the people in that area, I'm not even really, I should be a citizen automatically, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe I should just be a
Okay, let me
citizen
say this. Let me say this,
for that
brother.
reason.
Please let me make this point. Please, Daniel, let me make this point. He said something very serious. Let me make this point, please.
No,
Sierra Leone.
You're not gonna talk. You're not gonna talk over me. No.
Oh, go ahead.
And Sean, that's the point I'm trying to make. And when I say the symbolism, the emotional part, like the majority of these, they're not. They understand that, but it just doesn't work that way.
Oh, Dinos, please let me make a point because he said something very sensitive. You understand me? I need to come back on this one. You saying as if you understand the history of Sierra Leone, you should understand that the Creole people, those are not original tribes of Sierra Leone. These are ex-slaves who went back to Sierra Leone in Freetown. You understand me? But they were productive. The Sierra Leone, the Creole people, they are one of the best people in our society. One of the actual intellectual sort of like tribe in our community in Sierra Leone. You understand me? So what you're saying conflict with how comes you said that, oh, when I came to the United States, it's not the same as you going back to Africa. You should be automatically a citizen. Everything has changed. The white man system has been established. Everything has changed after slavery. So it's like me coming to America. America should automatically make me citizen if that's what you're saying.
Why?
Because I might come from the Creole. I might come from the Creole tribe who was a slave on the plantation who returned to Africa. My grandfather returned to Africa. I'm hypothetically, I'm from the Creole tribe.
He makes a good
I'm coming
point.
back to the United States.
I
need to be automatically a citizen. If that's the kind of mentality you're going with.
You need to be a citizen because your ancestors were slaves from America? That don't make sense.
No, okay, no.
American slaves who went back.
Let me respond. So the Creoles were the black loyalists. So during the war for independence, against the British promised slaves that if they fought on the side of the British, and if the British won, that they will grant them freedom. So when the British lost, these slaves went to Canada to what's the country? Abdul,
not British Columbia. What is it called? I know what you're talking about.
They went to Canada.
Nova Scotia.
They went to Nova Scotia, and in Nova Scotia, because it's cold as shit, they were like, "Listen, we can't stay here." So then the British brought them to Sierra Leone, to Freetown. And so what Abdul is saying is that the black loyalists came from Nova Scotia in 18 what, Abdul?
Basically is after after the war. Yeah, after the War of Independence. They were part of the United States. They were actual slaves in the United States who were working in the plantation, but the British trying to free them and tell them that if they fight on their side, they're gonna have their freedom. So after the British lost, they cannot come back to the United States because they will kill all of them. So they have to go with the British to Nova Scotia, and they didn't like it over there. So these are the same descendants of the same African Americans. So you cannot differentiate them. These are the same people. So can their right be violated and be like, oh no, you can't be American citizen because you were not here. You come from Africa. No, these are the same connection. You guys have the same connections. It's from the same grandfathers.
And you know,
Creole
to add to that point, some of them probably could do a DNA test and trace their ancestry to America, right? In
No,
the
they
sense
do.
that
They
Of
do.
you,
course, yeah. That's why they call them the Creole
Hold
people.
on, what my Theo? There are a number of Creoles, and you can say the same thing
their
with
last
Liberia.
names,
There are a number
yeah,
of Creoles and Liberians who will tell you, listen, my family came from plantations in North Carolina.
right. But does that give them a right to come back, get citizen
But
just off
no,
the off of the sense of that?
they still have to go through the
Same
naturalization.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything have changed. That's what I was trying to explain to you. The government system have changed, so you just have to follow the process.
You
And
have
there's
rights
no hard
to
feelings
settler
here, brother.
colony, settler European colony. You have rights to go back to the settler, that the colony that they took from the indigenous people. You have rights to go back to where they took this land from these people to be a part of that country. Okay, I get it. I get that. But what I'm saying though is that as people that were taken from Africa, and we can identify the ethnic groups or the regional ethnic groups that we should be given consideration, which is what's happening in Sierra Leone, and that it should last for more than 10 years because this was a 300-year process. That's all I'm saying. So the good feeling and the heartfelt thing needs to go longer is all I'm saying.
Yes, brother. Let me explain this thing, just a quick thing to you, right? You have to understand, Sierra Leone is not just an ordinary country. Sierra Leone is a blessed land full of natural resources. I'm talking about exotic natural resources. And it's only fair for them to figure out who is an actual Sierra Leonean to give this heritage to, because it's their birthright. It wouldn't be fair for us to just say, okay, all these people that was never a part of Sierra Leone tribes to come and enjoy these natural resources or have birthright to this natural. It wouldn't be fair to the actual Sierra Leoneans like dynasts who have lineage. It wouldn't be right.
But and listen to this though. This birthright thing, right? That's the type of stuff that keeps societies from progressing, right? When you don't have like some type of I'll say meritocracy or some type of system based on actual merit, and the idea that something is yours and belongs to you, you inherit without having to put in work and own it. Like you look at societies who keep those type of those systems in play, they don't progress. They don't progress, and they often come to conflict, right? Because the idea isn't inbred that you have to actually work, right? It's the idea is because I belong to this group of people, I deserve this, I should have that. And then when you don't get it, then those people, different people who have those same ideas, they come to conflict, right? Instead of working together.
America is actually practicing the same ideology.
Well, yeah, and to that degree, America stagnates. Yeah, to that degree, America stagnates.
Conflicting with what you're saying here, because America is practicing exactly what you're saying. You have to be a United States citizen to enjoy some of the wealth of the United States. So it doesn't make sense to me because it's conflicting what you're saying.
Well, no, I mean, I get I get. I'm not saying America has a perfect system, but that it's not pervasive in the way that it is in some other places. It's not like tribal origin
America is one of the
birthright.
most advanced country, though. But you said a country that practices those kind of ideology don't grow. But America is the most advanced place on earth for right now.
Right,
so
but it's not as pervasive again, because even in America, like the tax system, like hits you regardless. You inherit something, you have what they call estate tax. You have, property tax. Like it's not just a given. You inherit or you come from this group of people. You got it, and this is yours. You control it. You don't owe anybody anything. Like there's still something in the system that keeps you having to work for what you own or quote unquote own, and what you have or what you possess, what you intend to pass down.
So, brother, that's what Sierra Leone is trying to get to. There is a system that works in the United States. Sierra Leone right now is trying to build their own system, And once they build their system, it's gonna work. So basically, you are going to in circles, sir. You know.
But it shouldn't matter whether I'm Susu or Fulani or any, because the borders that are set up now, the people who live, the neighboring ethnic groups, that if they're in Guinea or something, those people traveled in and back and forth. It shouldn't matter if I'm of descendants of Susu or Malinke, or, and if they don't have
Yeah,
that
yeah,
ethnic
yeah. We
group,
don't, we don't, we don't,
Sierra
we don't
Leone.
see that. We don't see that because
Yeah,
most
but
people now have become intermarriage. Like
okay,
me,
That's
my
a
but
lot.
mother,
the
my
criteria for
mother is
me,
in Madingo, my father is Fulani. So there have been so much intermarriage. What you're saying right now is something that was happening in the 18th century when we have tribal war. That we've
That's
passed
a
that.
lot.
so, but what's the criteria for genetic descendant stuff? What is the criteria? Do I have to
I
be the
don't.
exact
I
ethnic
think
group?
diners know the steps that you can take. I don't know, but
As
I
as
mean,
as of right now, you have to take a DNA test with African ancestry, and the results come back Sierra Leone. You could, I mean, you're pretty much your foot to the door.
So, do you
And you
mean
know,
that if
I
the
would say
results
this.
come back that any ethnic group that is in Sierra Leone, you have entitlement, and if it's a group that's like Susu that's not in Sierra Leone, but
No,
it's in the neighborhood?
it has to be in Sierra. The group it has to be. It'll say like me, I'm Minde, Sierra Leone. It has to be Sierra
Okay,
Leone.
okay.
Go ahead, Yusuf. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Yusuf.
Yeah, good evening, bro. How you doing, man?
Good, good.
Um, I just want let me qualify my statement before. I've been in Sierra Leone now 3 years. Dynas, me and you met briefly when you came with Aaliyah and Shavana's that first tour when you first got your citizenship.
I didn't come with them. I want to make myself clear. I did not come with them.
Okay, well, we met in immigration there
Okay.
briefly. But at any rate, like I said, I've been here, investing here, living here, building here. So when I say what I'm about to say, the brother just said made a comment about the tribalism not being a factor or not being as prevalent here in the country, and that's an absolute falsehood. That stuff very much does matter, and in fact, it's tied into with the political system here as well. They play politics with that stuff, when you talk about your tribal affiliations and stuff. Um, Investing in Sierra Leone as a local is different than investing as a returnee or especially a Black American because of that internal tribal attitudes. There is definitely a concerted effort where there's a us versus them here on the ground. Um, Everybody gangs up on the foreigner or tries to take advantage of the foreigner, not because of it's a fun thing to do or whatever, but there's a level of poverty mindset and desperation that us as Black Americans coming from where we coming from, we are not necessarily connected to it, or we haven't experienced it on this level. So we come over here with an individualistic mindset, and we don't play the game like other people's. When you talk about the Chinese or the Lebanese or any other foreign group that come over here, they play team ball, and when they come over here, they have the concentrated resources together where we come over here trying to connect with sentiment. And these guys aren't playing sentimental games. They are playing for keeps. That's part of that desperation mindset or that poverty mindset. And that's just not a level of danger we're familiar with. So, so it's definitely different, and it's not as easy and it's not as rosy as the pictures people try to paint. And I would venture off to say it's even the same in other West African countries, next door in Guinea or in Liberia. You're pretty much going to get the same as a treatment as an outsider. You know, you come over here, you're food, and unless you're very strong, will-minded, and have a strong determination and stamina, you're gonna take some hits and stuff that you some setbacks that you're not gonna, you won't know how to do. You just aren't prepared to deal with. So I think that's one of the things that we have to take into consideration if you're talking about the diaspora and returnees, or even pursuing citizenship. It needs to mean more than just a passport or just having the papers, as the brother is saying. That's not going to connect you to the land. what's going to connect you to the land, like I said, is what the brother was emphasizing is that if we strip away the sentiment, what are we benefiting? What am I going to benefit from investing in here? And what can my group, and we have to think about it not as an individual, but as a group. Collectively, if we come in as Black Americans and we set up our own group or our own lobby or our own community, what are we going to benefit? What are the benefits of investing in Sierra Leone versus investing, say, next door in Guinea or in Gambia or any other, country in Africa? And I think that's one of the things that we have to, again, push past. I think that's the right conversation to start having, as far as people moving to the continent or even moving to Sierra Leone in specific, is we got to look past the sentiment thing. Yes, reparations is a great feel good idea. I would love to see it happen. I would love for, African nations who participated in the slave trade to stand up and take responsibility, to welcome everybody back with open arms, with land and grants and all that other stuff. But, at the end of the day, that's a sentimental dream that we want. Maybe one day will come true, but for now, it's not true. So what are we prepared to do, and what are we prepared to do for ourselves? And we just one of the things I think we really have to get over is that we are a separate group of people, even though our origins and our ancestral links and ties to this country, but we're two different people. And I think that's one of the things that you get over, very quickly when you come over here. You realize that sentiment stuff goes out the window when you get out of that tourist mindset. You say, okay, hey, I'm here trying to plant roots. I'm trying to make a life, embrace me with your pushback. Then that's when you start saying, okay, well, hold up. Things are different. It ain't, I thought it was.
So you kind of make the case. You kind of make the case for the need to make citizenship a little more stringent, right? When you say, like we're different people. And I'm not saying you're wrong when you say that, because the truth is geography and time has created some differences, right? Good or bad. So with those differences, to a degree, your mindset or your idea, and it doesn't have to all be sentiment, like you said, but that not having that apathy that some people might come with might make them just as good or bad as any other foreigner who comes to Sierra Leone. So why, in that case, why would you just give citizenship, right? Just come in as if you were a Chinese or any other group of people and do business. But let me say this also. The sentiment, even though I don't think it's enough, I think it does help. I think it should be something that's like the DNA, your reason. It just gives more plausibility to your reasoning for citizenship. So that should be something that's considered when you're kind of stating your reasoning for wanting citizenship, right? Because I think people should have to do that. They should have to demonstrate that they have good intentions, that they're coming from a good place with wanting citizenship and having, being able to demonstrate the DNA connection. Also, just like in America, I think they have questionnaires where they have to know who to, just different things that kind of demonstrate some level of understanding of the country, patriotism, and it's not just you're just coming in as some apathetic person who's just strictly there for your own selfish gain, with no care or concern about how your gain affects the country, right? So
let me
my brother, let me help you out with maybe what you are trying to paint here. My own idea, what I get from what you're saying, basically you're saying that when you come to basically Africa or Sierra Leone or wherever, you feel like an outsider. You have that outsider tendency, well, this is not the same ideology that the Creoles who came and settled in Sierra Leone had when they came. If they had that kind of that kind of ideology, they would have crashed, just like the Liberians in Stami. When the Creole came, they came in as, okay, this is our place, this is our people, and the people embraced them. So once you start feeling like you're an outsider, that means you making a recipe now for disaster. Basically, like, it's not gonna work because you already dim yourself as an outsider. You have to first see yourself as part of these people and part of this family, and be proud to be part of it. Don't think like you're
Yeah,
an
brother,
outsider.
that all
Brother,
sounds good, but at the end of the day, they have terms. All right, so listen, all right, and this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to paint Sierra Leone as in a bad light. I'm here, I'm an investor, I'm not going anywhere, I'm staying. But at the same time, they have these terms for us called, and that's not just for Black Americans. That's for any diaspora return from the West or any place. They have this, yeah, just come. That's what JC means.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Right. And then,
I have a
all right.
problem with that too. I have a problem with that term too, because that
All right, well, hold
differentiating
on. Hold on. It goes
us.
past that. But it's more than, hold on, let me finish. Let me land. Let me land. So it goes past that. The JC term then and does it incentivizes, or there is a unwritten rule that you are now chop money. You are now they're gonna eat you when you go to do anything, or with a simple transaction in the market where they know the local price for this cup of rice is 3,000, or this local fish is supposed to be 4,000. Your price is 7, 8. It's taxing. Yes, it's taxing. It's taxing, but imagine taxing across the board. Imagine taxing when you driving down the street, they recognize your car, cop pulls you over every day on your route to and from the work because he knows your car, he knows you're a foreigner, and he knows he can hit you up for that extra 5, 10, 20,000. You know,
That's the
his little
impact
water.
fee. That's the impact fee you're paying.
Brother, I want to know how long you been in Sierra Leone? How long?
Huh?
How
3
long you
years.
been in Sierra Leone?
September.
Huh?
3 years.
2 years.
September
Okay,
2000.
I want to ask you something, right? I understand. Look, I'm from Nigeria. No matter what it is, if inside your family, you live in a, let's assume, somebody from Nigeria live maybe in America for 10, 15 years, right? What you say now, they will also do the same thing to him. But what he have to do is this. I'm coming somewhere, I'm just giving you basic. He have to hold somebody he trusts personally, right? Then he have to adapt into the system. Let's assume Sierra Leone now. Now you have a tribe. Before they give you that's why I said, look, you cannot play the system like the way you operate like in America. African system is almost similar the same thing. I hope the names they call the termites, the indigenous, they have some kings, right? Like the termites, all these have kings, right? Or head of the clan. What we do here, when you become like you there, okay, you're part of them, you go visit the chiefs. The chiefs will welcome you. We invite all of the chiefs.
See, again, your surface level processing my sentiment and my experience. What I'm telling you is that this is a mentality. It's entrenched in the DNA.
It's not different. It's not different like Nigeria.
That
in Nigeria, even if you send your cousin, right? Even if you send your cousin bread, somebody that lives inside house with you, and they're selling that bread for 500 naira, it will tell you 700 naira. So you have to find where yourself. I think this guy is not giving an encouraging word because I'm a little. Because you cannot get what Sierra Leone is doing, my brother. You cannot get it in any other African countries. It will be very, very, very difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, your internet is
what Sierra Leone is doing. What Sierra Leone is doing now. Hello? It's like it's not good.
Yeah, internet is going in and out.
Hold on. Look.
No, not you. It's the other guy.
Okay. What this guy is saying, he's saying things like he felt more like an outsider. When you start having that mind, look, I know a lot of Nigerians are going to Sierra Leone to do business. If Nigeria is in Sierra Leone, they never feel as outsider, my brother.
My
So what's
brother,
your
the Nigerians are part of
wait,
the
wait, wait? What's
Creole.
your point, bro? Just sum up your point. You're saying that they're going to charge you more money and deal with it, that you have to adjust to it. What are you saying?
I said in Nigeria here, right? If you come from America, you live in America for 15 years, even inside your own house, you want to buy a bread of the bread is 500 naira. Sometimes if you don't know much, even your cousin will charge you for 700 naira. But then you started knowing, you don't okay, I will never send this person to buy me bread anymore. You go yourself and you let look, you were charging me 700, that is bad. So you have to your eyes have to be open. You have to be ready to be dirty. When I mean dirty, try to do things yourself, try to know things yourself. Or somebody
Listen,
think it's trustworthy.
Got it.
it's just like this. If you're out of state and you want to go to a state college, you're gonna pay out of state tuition. If I'm a Floridian, so I'm probably gonna pay less than a New Yorker to go to Disney World. You know, so stuff like that happen. There's
But
tourists. If
those
you go to a
prices are
tourist
set, though.
district anywhere in the world, if you go to the tourist area, you're paying the tax. Like you're paying more.
Man, hey,
You
D,
go to
I'm gonna tell you a story. I got taxed in so we played in the Sugar Bowl back in 2003, and man, they taxed the shit out of me on Canal Street.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anywhere where you're where they recognize that you're not a local, anywhere in the world, and in a lot of places, it's tourist districts that identify area, people who aren't from here. In some countries, they don't have like a concentrated tourist area, maybe, so they use other things to identify people who aren't from the area, and they tax you just like you would get taxed if you went anywhere else in the world. If you went to the Bahamas, you get off that boat right there off of the ship, you're gonna pay more money than you would in other parts, or then the locals are paying.
My brother, if you dress here different in Nigeria,
we
yeah.
want to have in a society, or do we want to change that as a people? Do
Well,
we want that?
societies that do that the most are societies that don't really have a system in play that really that where the government taxes or put fees in play, right, for people who come in, right, because they don't have the clout to do it just yet. Like America, Europe, it can be expensive for some people to go to those places because of the fees that the government has in place, right? They have a tax system, a progressive tax system that, allows them to pay their government officials, police officers, public servants in a way that those people don't have to try to get it off the streets. So if those countries are going to get like that, then they're going to have to put things in play at the door, right, that allow them to raise money to be able to take care of their society.
And that's part
build
of
infrastructure.
and that's also part of the part where if this is a more of a business deal and we're putting aside the sentiment, then those are the things we want to know. Are your social services, are the people getting paid, getting a fair wage, or are they going to be trying to hit you up every step of the way, doing corrupt stuff? This is what leads to corruption, and a trickle down.
My brother, you're preaching. Look, Africa is not like European, whereby you have a fixed price and everything. If you go to the supermarket in the Western world, you have a fixed price. Drink is about, let's say, $2 or €3. You just you go to the counter, you pay. Africa, you have what called pricing system. These are things Black Americans will learn later. Even here in Nigeria, if you dress a certain way, let me tell you an example. If I pull up my village, like this December, I'm going to my village. If I pull up in where they sell this yams and plantain and everything, I want to buy those things to my mother on my way. The moment I park my car, I'm out of that car. If see that car alone, don't know this guy have money. They see me alone. If I'm out, that plantain they sell maybe for 3,000 naira will jump to 5,000 to 6,000 naira. It's not for me now to bargain the thing with them to let them understand. Man, look, I'm in this game. When you pretend you live in, okay, you can take your plantain. I'm not buying anymore. When you go to
you launch negotiation.
You negotiate. That's just how it goes.
They call it the barter system.
Let me share this.
You navigate, you don't just have to stand there, I want to buy it now. You can pretend I'm leaving. They'll be begging you. Oh, no. Okay, you bring 4,000 there. If you do 3,500, they will give it to you. Everything in Africa is bargain. But this what I said, Black America have to what we call integration. Integration is you have to study the society. You have to learn the culture. You have to learn. You have to
You got to know
learn.
the price.
But there's a
You have to
difference
know
between
everything. You
bartering
have to
and
learn if they're
there's a
aggressive.
difference between bartering and the police hitting you up for no reason to try to get paid, and
No, the police.
also
The police. You can also bargain the
big
police.
huge projects like Ajakuta
Bro,
still
I'd
come.
rather the police give
That's
me
not
money than
barter.
shoot me, bro.
That was
I'd
$1
rather the
billion
police give me money
siphoned
than
off.
shoot me.
They siphoned so much
Well,
money off
this
of
guy
that.
just said, look, these are just white people live in these countries, man. You understand me? Look, you can tell the police, why you asking me for this, brother? You can be polite. Why you asking me for this? We'll look at the no, just find out something. Say, I don't have something to give to you. If I have something, let me be coming back. You'll never see you. When you come back, say, brother, I just spent my last money there. It's not look,
Yeah, you negotiate.
African system is different. You understand? Yeah, my man, we land here, no government. Look, land is everything here. If you're in Africa, nobody's going to twist the law like what they're doing right now in some certain area, twist the law to against Black Americans. They want to take the land from them. That's why it's a tribal system in these African countries. If you have a tell me, nobody, look, do you think it's easy? You come at a tribal and come and say, I want to get it. You know, if you have a passport, you belong to a tribe, my man, you're free, you're safe. As long you go into meeting with those tribes, introduce yourself to those tribes, do this to those tribes. Why Black Americans are having problems sometimes in Ghana? Because they're not citizens. In Sierra Leone, they just give you the passport. Even Nigerians that are not even citizens in Sierra Leone, they still know how to navigate themselves by doing the business there. Even to Liberia, you know, they just sneak into the system, beat the system. Before you know that, I know Nigerians were like Liberia for years. Some of the evil air soldiers who went there to fight war, but refused to leave. You know, they're just there doing business. You know, they just stay there. You know, their land belongs to their children when they're dead. You understand? So the truth of the matter is, there's no way in Africa. What Sierra Leone is doing now, no other country will be able to do it. Some other country will be watching it. What is the sources of it really? They'll be watching, looking at it. How did it go? You know, how they able to do it? If you come to Nigeria, when the Brazil return, the world called the Brazil returnees, they occupy one of the most powerful prize in Lagos, whereby the business is. You understand me? They're everything there. So you have to put yourself down there. The former richest guy in Lagos is dead now. Was a Brazil returnee. So don't ever feel yourself as an outsider, because if you think you're real from Africa, that's what you want to do the DNA. But man, you must have to have an exit point. There's no so, oh, I'm stuck here. That's what Africans, you see, Africans are just jumping in. Because Africa, after building their mansions, don't just be jumping in, because they have in Africa. So look, they're not spending money in Africa, rather they're collecting money in Africa. There's something making money for them in Africa. So when they come to Africa, they collect the business money, they do everything, they just enjoy their flares, they're free, they do everything. You know, that's why Africans are not too really, you know, so why Africa don't have our pain, because they're not really tied to what they see in United States. They say, man, if I cannot deal with this after 10 years, 15 years, man, I'm gone. You know, let me go and enjoy myself. That's just
How
all.
Yeah,
much of a moral?
you see, Black Americans tend to be uh to be protective of their money, because Black Americans work really hard for the income that they do accumulate over their lifespans, and when they feel like they're being cheated out of the income that they but by other Africans when they do travel to Africa, they feel like you're not just stealing money from them. It's more than money to them. It's that hard work. It's the blood, sweat, and tears that they've put in over generations to accumulate that money. So I think when it comes to lawlessness, and when you're dealing with the economy and the money, you know what I'm saying, you have to have law. There has to be a rule of law, and it has to be enforced, so that people feel comfortable about spending their money inside of your country.
Yes, let me tell you, my brother, this is sound of you don't have confidence. I'll give you an example. I don't know, there's a white guys in Jos and Kano, white men that came as missionary and who have children in Nigeria, right? Those children are bona fide Nigerians. They have their houses, everything is something. Out of the blue, these guys now become an Hausa. White man and his family now become an Hausa. They own property, they own everything. The white boy was the white. This I'm telling you, a lot of white guys like that in Nigeria, right? Who tell you they're Hausa. These are not black race. These are white people. Some of them from America, missionaries who come long time ago. I'm talking about 50 years ago. Then someone say, the guys, but why are you in Nigeria? Say, the guy start speaking broken English. That what's wrong with you? You see, first of all, you use that word. What will be your problem? It now show the aggressiveness of the same Nigeria way. The Nigerian guy was okay, but you now, why you the holler like that? He already telling you that I'm part of this place and I'm an Hausa person. The land, the property belong to these white people. And these are not ethnically Nigerians. You know what I mean? They're not ethnically black people, but they have properties there. Properties that they passing on, passing on, passing on, passing on. Only gonna know until they start marrying. Sometimes the color started changing. So my grandfather was a white man. So if you think you work out for money, you don't just jump into business you don't know. Study it. You know, nobody's asking you to waste your money like that. Study it. You know, go over there, spend some time, study people you want to be your friend with. Know your friends.
Yeah,
Then
that's
start
true. I
asking
mean,
questions.
African Americans don't have the confidence that European or white people in America have about their economics and their ability to create money. You know, once we get over that hump and start believing in ourselves and believe that we can become a Warren Buffett or Elon Musk, then the ability to create money and spend it when we go to, you know, the continent to spend our money won't be such a encumbering or painful situation for us, because we'll be confident in our abilities to accumulate economics. But you know what I mean? It's just a process of believing in ourselves, and that's going to take time. And I think we're on our way there. And you know, investing in Africa, like you said, like those European missionaries did. That's a way of, you know, getting our feet wet and learning how the business works and believing in ourselves and being able to create income like that.
I think if we go to Africa with a petty bourgeoisie mentality of trying to be the gentry over in Africa, that is the wrong way to go in, and that the problem in Africa now is that you have an inequality in wealth. You have a very few rich, and most of the people are poor. So that system in and of itself has to change. Redistribution of wealth needs to change. Needs to be more of a social, you know, system where the major companies are not owned by outside corporations or the few gentry. It needs to be owned by the state. The state needs to own the gold mines. The state
Hey,
needs to own the power sources.
My brother, you see, look. There's no excuse or anything. Look, I'm now having to believe Black America cannot fit into anywhere in Africa apart from United States. That's just the truth. Forget what. Look, my brother, I live in Europe before, right? I live in Europe before. I stayed there for some years, right? Do you think I was feeling cool that I live in a white man country, very cold? I was still doing my job, doing everything. At least I built some confidence to able to get my job, build whatever I want to build. I went back to my country, right? And then I'd start doing things there, get back to the job I was doing before in Europe in my country, right? Then I start get what I'm doing and everything. It's all about confidence. Because I'm a black person, I didn't fit into the European system. I got to stand out. Let me tell you one thing. There's a lot of Liberians here in Nigeria who came during the war time, who have properties here, but never go back. They own this property. Some of them become Nigerians also. Their children will be born here. You understand me? So with Nigerians say, oh, because you're not from here, but you have a Nigerian passport, or they have to come and be changing the system of the government, like what you're saying. You know you can't change that. Like someone coming to change, you bring the whole system like, oh, change this, change that before we can do anything. Follow the system of the people. We know everywhere that in America there are a lot of poor people also. If you want to be rich, you rich. If you want to stay poor, you stay poor. That's not your business. Whoever is poor is poor. You have to work out to live poverty. You understand
every
me? You have
system
to
can
find the
change.
system you have to, oh, this person is poor, change the system. No, you want to remain poor, go, God bless you, remain poor. If you want to be rich, God, get down to the mansion you want to get to. So Sierra Leoneans that are living Sierra Leone to United States, do you think they want to stay in the United States forever? Some of them build their houses in Sierra Leone. They know
What
there's no
I'm talking
light.
about is what the brother Ibrahim Traore is doing in Guinea, right? I mean, in Burkina Faso right now. What he's doing in Burkina Faso is he's kicked the French out, right? And he is also now he's restructuring the deals and taking over the gold mines. And probably he's going to nationalize the gold mines. So
what
this
is
is
doing what is doing
is
to
the new
Burkina
chapter.
Faso? Let me tell you one thing. What is doing to Burkina Faso that live in America does not concern them. As long they have their money, they're going there to Burkina Faso. It's all about emotions. Black America does not have the emotions. Even those that have the passport, they don't have the
Yeah.
emotions. Emotions are
My brother, Burkina
Right. But
Faso
I'm just
and,
talking
and
about,
Sierra Leone is two different countries. That one is French, the other one is English.
doesn't
French
matter if
have
it's
their
French
own
or
way of
English. You were
tackling these
colonized.
French countries
It
under
doesn't
their
matter.
wing.
It doesn't matter
No,
because
wait. It matters. You have to
Anglophone.
understand the system. That's what the
This
brother
isn't
is
an
trying to tell
ideology,
you.
though.
No, I'm saying in general. I'm
Because
speaking in
the
general terms.
French have their
I'm
own way
speaking in
of
general terms.
colonizing the
You were
French country.
colonized by Europeans, right? And the multinational corporations are in the neo-colonization part of where you guys are now, right? Neo-colonization.
Brother, it's
It
two
is the
different things, bro.
corporations that have
I
made
don't
deals with the
think
leading
my
with the
brother,
leading
you see
families,
things,
with the ruling families.
you
They have
coming
made
with
deals
all
with the leading
techniques, all
families, and it has
systems,
been
all Africa is
it
colonized.
has been a not opposite
The
of
people
benefit
living in
for the
Sierra Leone, I don't know
masses of
people living in
people.
Sierra Leone. Do you think it's all of them that is poor? You think all of them that is poor in
My
Sierra
brother, let
Leone?
me make
I
this
can't
point.
hear
Please, let me
you.
make
If
this
I'm
point.
talking at the same time and you're talking, I
Yeah,
can't hear you because I want to hear
let
what
me
you're
make
saying.
this point,
But I'm
please.
talking and you're talking while I'm talking, so I can't hear you. Go ahead. Say what you're saying.
Yes, what I was trying to say, you have to understand, is two different countries that colonized, French and English. These are two different entities. The colonization of the French and the colonization of the English is two different things, brother. The
Right.
French are actually very hardcore on their colonization. In Sierra Leone, we have a little bit of freedom, so you cannot put both of us in the
But
same
No, I
you
get
token.
that.
haven't
I
said
agree
enough.
with you, and I
You
get
haven't said
that.
enough to say the difference, though. You just saying one is hardcore, one has a. But what is the actual difference that really makes a difference to what he was saying? Because I get where he
So
was going with what he was saying.
that the French, let me explain it a little bit. The French has something called the France Afrique, which these French countries have to sign. They say the colonization pact to
Right.
continue of
Right. I'm aware
colonization.
of that.
So
Right.
basically, these people have to give their money, their
Right. I get
reserve
that.
to the French bank, and then the French will print out money
Okay.
called the CFA, and
Let me
then
ask you a question.
basically they don't have nothing in control. But Sierra Leone is
I'm aware of
different.
the pact
But
for
that
That's what
doesn't
I'm trying to
address
tell
what he
you.
was getting at,
colonization,
though.
right? But here's the question I have for you. When we look at the money in Sierra Leone, we look at the major companies that are doing extractive things like mining and that. Who owns those? See, this is the true litmus test. Who owns those? Who are the richest people in Sierra Leone? What are the multinational corporations in
The
Sierra
government
Leone?
own those
And it
because
will have
London
basically
Mining
the
was
same
acting
thing.
up, and they cut the contract from London Mining. I'm telling you, the government own it.
Bro, I want to
The
ask you,
government own it.
are you the government? Are you the
Trust me.
government? Are you the
Right, that's what I was trying to say. The
Are
government
you the
own
government? Do you want to
every
be
natural resources
you
you
want
see
to
in Sierra
you
Leone.
want to be the
The government
government of
own
Sierra
it.
Leone?
That's excellent.
Or you are
That
there
is
to have a
really
good
good to
time? Are
hear.
you going to be
If that is
are
the
you going to
case.
be the government of Sierra Leone? Or do you want to rule the country? Because what you're saying right now is like they don't have a government. Everything just
No.
right, everybody just running around.
No,
Yeah,
what
we
I'm
have our
saying,
structure, my
the
brother.
average citizen needs to be
Look, I'm from
concerned with and
Nigeria,
should
right?
know
I'm
to
not
ask
from
those
Sierra
questions.
Leone. I'm from Nigeria. But our friends, I've never been to Sierra Leone. I
Yeah,
know we run
Nigeria is a hot mess.
Oh, forget that.
Nigeria is a failure.
You see what you're saying right now. That's why it's very difficult to trust you people. You know,
No, it's
you people
true.
come to insult people, even when people stretch the house of friendship. My brother, where I stay, where I'm living. If I show you where I live, my brother, you can't live that your lifetime. Let me just tell you the
Okay,
truth.
so you're one of the
Stop
boule.
making
We call them
stop
boule.
making dirty mouth out of
You're the
yourself.
petty bourgeoisie. Then you live in
Oh,
No,
Lekki, or you
brother.
where do you live?
Brother,
You
let me
live
say
in
something,
Lekki, or
please.
you live
Let me
in
say something. Let me say something,
Echo
please.
Atlantic.
The way you are approaching this thing, you're gonna upset a lot of Africans because you cannot come there telling them, "Oh, you can't do this, you do this." You cannot change the system. These people
But
have been living for over so many centuries
Excuse me,
under this
sir.
kind of system.
They're
They are
not
the
living
only
like
one
they
that know how
used
to
to
get
live.
themselves
No,
out.
no, no. The people today are not living how they lived 300 years ago, or 200 years
Let
ago,
them live
or
the way they
100 years
live.
ago.
It's not your business. You are there to
It is
look.
my business.
Look,
Those are the
you're the kind
considerations
of
that I need
people,
to make when I'm making investments.
you're the kind of people who come there and make noise and make noise and make
No,
noise
no,
and
I'm
make
not gonna
noise.
come
Hey,
and
hey,
make
and check
noise.
this out though.
I'm
Check
gonna
this out.
come clearly
Hey,
understanding the situation of what's going on. If I don't
But then
understand
you
what
don't know
happened
nothing. You don't know nothing. I told you
I
it's
know
an
what happened
emotion
with
of a thing.
Ajakuta Steel Company. I know
Forget
that
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 Jakuta.
was.
Look,
I
that's
know
not my
what happened with Ajakuta Steel Company. Do you know what happened with Ajakuta
What
Steel
happened at
Company?
Jakuta is not my business.
Do
You
you?
start,
It is. It
I
should be
don't
your
give a damn
business,
about that. What happened at Jakuta? I'm not the government.
right?
But am
But
I
you're
living my
not the
life good?
government. You sound
Am I
ignorant.
having a good life for myself? Yes.
You sound
All
ignorant
life, look, all life
because
is
what
a
you're
risk.
saying is you shouldn't be concerned
There's
with
no
what the
life
government
on this
does.
earth. Let me tell you something, my brother.
Are you
On this
saying that you
earth,
shouldn't be concerned with what the government
on
does?
this earth, there's no what's called risk-free life. All life is a
We're
risk.
not talking
You follow
about
me?
that.
So,
We're
so,
no, we're
so
not
don't
talking
come about
about
this
a
or that
risk-free
or this
life.
or that, this or that, this or that,
We're
this or
talking
that.
about
It does
understanding
not
what's
matter
going
anything.
on in the country. That's what we're talking about, and making a
hey,
wise choice
pause for a
about the
second. Pause
investments
for a
that we
second.
make or where we decide to live. We need to know
Pause for
those
a second.
things. That
Look,
doesn't
Hey,
mean
look,
that we're going
hey,
to come
pause for
in
a
look.
second.
and try to,
Listen,
upheaval the
Give me 2
country.
seconds. Look,
listen.
let me tell you
So
something. Let me
hey,
tell you something.
listen real quick. Listen real quick. Why don't you all let one person have a complete thought? Because you guys jumped on him about what he was saying before he actually finished his thought. And what what you were arguing that wasn't getting at what he was saying. It was
I'm not,
something
yes,
besides the point.
look, you
So
try to
you have
criticize.
to allow a person to finish their thought and
My
then
brother,
address
Thank
that.
you.
my brother, let me tell you something, right? He's already finding a negative way to criticize the
But you
country.
gotta finish. Let him
Hold
finish
on,
talking.
hold on, that the country is already colonized. They don't have nothing. Look, let me tell you something.
That's not what he
I'm,
said.
Okay, let him finish. Let him finish
I'm
his
married to
thought. Go ahead.
non-Africa. I'm
Finish
married
your
to
thought.
non-Africa for 26 years. She lived here with me. She feel more at home here. She have investment here. The mother, the wife of P Square, the mother is a white Russian who live in Nigeria, who live well there, who never complain. I think in Sierra Leone also they will also have non-African people who also live in those countries, who live well there, who accept the territory, who build life for themselves. If you're looking for poverty, right? If you're looking for poverty, you will see poverty. There's nobody that is not poor. But you have to work yourself out of that scenario so that you will never be poor. If poverty is your friend, let it be your friend. But for other people that doesn't want poverty as their friend, they can the sky is their limit. Even United States, when you stay in there, they're also poor people, but being run by capitalist system. You people have assistance handout, whatever. But the people are still poor there. People still homeless. So you cannot say, oh, you come to Africa, that there's no poverty. There always going to be poverty everywhere because it's a market system of government. But you cannot be homeless, so you want to be homeless. Because every African places, you have relatives. You come from a village. If you come from the city, every city, people that come to the city also have they're all from a village. So don't come and say, oh, this, that, this, that. I'm telling you that my wife is not an African. But he
Okay. All
lived
right.
there
All right. Make
consistently
your
for,
okay.
for how
Can you
many
land?
years?
Can you land your point?
So don't come and be saying, oh, we colonize you, that colonize you, they're taking your resources, that taking your resources. It
All
doesn't
right.
pay, like, brother. First
All
on
right.
yourself and better yourself. That's just all.
Thank you.
There
Thank you.
you go.
So I'm not arguing about that there's not going to be poverty, but what I'm saying is that when there's such a large amount of poverty, it creates desperation in people. It creates people trying to take advantage of other people. And the reason that I say Nigeria is a hot mess is because other Nigerians have said that that's what their country is. It is not only just me, it's me listening to the people from Nigeria. And there's different views, but for the most part, most Nigerians say that Nigeria is dysfunctional. And all I'm saying for African Americans is that we understand the different levels of what the country is about, what's going on in the country, so that when we make our risks, when we make our decisions, it's an educated decision and an educated risk that we're making when we're going into deciding to move into. I could see myself living in Nigeria as Nigeria is what it is now. And the reason is because I have a cultural connection with Nigeria because of my spiritual practice. I practice Yoruba religion, Orisha worship. I feel like I'm a part of the Yoruba nation, right? So I have a connection. I have a tie-in. I have a welcome in with that. And I think that's also a model that African Americans going to Sierra Leone should consider, is studying the cosmology of the major ethnic group there, getting involved with that. Even if most of the people are Christians, right, or a good number of them are Christians, they should try to learn about the culture of the people so that they feel more of a part. And when they get there, the people will see that they've put some effort in trying to understand their old ways. So I understand what you're saying, my brother. All I'm saying is that if we come in with the right mindset and educated, the more educated we are and the more of the right mindset that we have, we could influence in a, maybe subtle way, or maybe over time, we could influence the government to be more of a socialistic type of government than a capitalistic type of government, because socialistic type of government would work better for African people. That's my point.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
I'm leaving now, bro. Let me finish. Let me do my close the living. My brother.
Hold on. Let Theo talk.
No, that is, I want to leave now.
I
want to leave. I just want to leave. I want people to have mind like Dynast.
Hold on. Let Theo talk. Go ahead, Theo.
Okay. So all I'm gonna say is this. It's kind of to his point, gentleman that was just speaking. When you have individuals, whether it's corporations or families that own more wealth and have more power than the government, which is elected by the people and supposed to be democratic, that is going to undermine that democratic system, because oftentimes those families or those corporations aren't going to have the interest of the whole country at heart. The corporation is going to have the investors at the center of its who they're responsible to, which oftentimes aren't going to be the locals, the citizens, right? Not the majority of them anyway, right? The families, maybe their care and concern might trickle out to the tribe to a degree, but that's it. So in a sense, you need a government that, one, has control of the natural resources in a way that those natural resources benefit the government, which has a responsibility to the people, or you have a progressive tax system that taxes everything that goes out of the country or is traded, sold, owned, to the degree that the government is empowered enough to take care of the people, right? And this is what I think he was getting at when he mentioned Tory and Burkina Faso, I think is his name, Tory, is that he is now kicking out those entities which had more control than the government did, because those entities didn't put the people first. So the proposal, I guess, from what I've heard, is to take control, the government taking control of some of those resources. And I know that has a negative connotation, but we're not like underneath monarchies, right? Where the government is some king taking control of the resources and he does with it as he will. When you say government in a democracy, you're talking about essentially the people, right? Because the government should be beholden to the people. The reason why it doesn't happen in a lot of democracies is because the governments are weak, because there are families or corporations that actually wield more power than the actual government does. When the government can't pay the public servants, when it can't pay the police officers, when it doesn't properly pay anybody in government, then those people are subject to be corrupted by outside forces. So I think that's the point that was kind of being made, to why socialism, right? I'm gonna use that term because I think that's where the term you use is more of a benefit. And it doesn't, even if it's not socialism, you have to have some type of collective force, right? And that collective has to be the people, the country. And it has to have enough power to actually work on the people's behalf. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, guys. What you were saying make a little bit of sense. But my brother that was talking about Burkina Faso, you have to understand that Burkina Faso natural resources was owned by France, and Sierra Leone or Nigeria, some of these English countries are owned by their own government. So it's a big difference there. The reason why Ibrahim Traore is going after these entities is because these French companies were the ones who own some of these natural resources. Like Niger, France own those natural resources, like the thing that gives them power. So basically some of these governments, they have to do a revolutionary action to take back what belongs to them. So it's very complex. That's why, my brother, if you come into Africa, just act like the white man for the main time. The white man, when they come to invest, and they don't really pay attention to the politics of it all until they understand it very well. So if you don't understand the politics very well, you cannot come and say, "Oh, you have to do this and you have to do that." That will anger some other people, that you're stepping on their toes. So you have to be careful if you go in there to invest. Don't be scared, like what the Nigerian guy was saying. Don't be scared. Act like invest money and see your benefits, and then come back out. Once you make enough money, then you can actually participate in the politics and start lobbying some of these entities, and now you can have power to say what you want to say. You can now tell them, oh, this can go here, this can go here, because I believe in African Americans, that they have the ability and the skills to run Africa. I myself would love to see African Americans at the forefront of African politics, because I understand that African Americans will build a better Africa, rather than the corrupt people that we have there today. You understand me? I'm not against African Americans, but I want you to take your time to understand the politics of it all, so
See,
that
the
way you
thing,
will not step
Hear
on
your
people's
message.
toes.
I hear your
the thing
message.
about capitalism is capitalism is highly dependent on culture and character. People invest in things that they can trust, they invest in things and people, that institutions that they can trust. Meaning that if those people or those institutions lack character and proper culture, people are hesitant to invest in it. So if you find that your government or your your society has to depend on socialism because they don't have the culture and the character to be trustworthy in the open market, then that's a bad sign, and that the culture needs to change before it can flourish in the capitalist society.
Well, capitalism in and of itself, some people question the fact that it is going to be useful for the future, that it has an expiration date, and then maybe the United States and the Western world is at the end of capitalism in the ideology of its pureness, because it's not really a true pure capitalist country. The United States is not pure
And it's not
capital.
a virtue.
Right. So, but I mean, I hear what the brother's saying. It would make no sense to go to Sierra Leone or anywhere and stir up a bunch of, kind of mindset that is going in a different direction than what the mindset that's running the country, and to, get in and affect change in a way that makes sense. But for the sake of this conversation in this room, right? When we talk about the organization ECOWAS, and I'm using this as an example of how you say the former French colonies and former Anglophone or English colonies are so different in how they are today, positioned today, that if that were the case, then why was ECOWAS able to be, their efforts were thwarted by France? So you have Nigeria at the top of ECOWAS with the biggest input into ECOMUG, the military, not really military, but the part of the militaristic part of ECOWAS. That you have the French that stopped their eco currency. They were supposed to come out with an equal currency a couple of years ago, and it never came out. And that's because France stopped the efforts of the regional ECOWAS. Was supposed to build the region's economy, and that's why all those countries came together. Former English colonies came together, had been coming together for many years, 20 years or more, to create this eco currency. And had that equal currency gone through, it could have immensely helped Nigeria in terms of its money situation, its valuation of its currency, and the entire region of West Africa. But the French didn't allow it. That lets you know that the French not only is concerned with just the French colonies, it's also concerned with any kind of unity that they're coming together to do, and trumped it. United States supports France. So we're in that's a security
Okay.
issue.
Okay, my brother, let me explain this thing just a little bit. You have to understand French colonies. Within these French colonies, is over 16 of them in West Africa. Within them, they have power wild cards that they have. I will start naming them for you. One is the one in Senegal, Macky Sall. That's one of them, one of the presidents. You have another one, Alassane Ouattara in Ivory Coast. And then you have one in Cameroon, Paul Biya. So within the ECOWAS system, they have power cards. So when it's time for them to vote, these power cards will vote on the favor of France. These are sellouts. These presidents,
but those
they are sellouts.
3 countries.
Open sellout, people. Open sellout. So when you're talking about
countries compared
currency,
to what, 16?
My brother, let me just land here. When it comes to the eco currency, it was supposed to be printed. The central bank supposed to be in Ghana. It was supposed to be printed there. But Alassane Ouattara, like I said, went behind his comrades' back and went to France. I call it the president of France, Macron, called him, and they have secret conversation. All of a sudden, Macron and Alassane Ouattara went on the air in Sami on the newscast and said that the money is going to be printed in France, and that bring a chaos because they didn't discuss it with the rest of the African countries. So all of them pull back.
Right. So how could one country, first of all, Ivory Coast, that don't even make no sense that one country could vote over all these other 15, 16 countries that are in West Africa to make a decision like that.
They didn't vote. It didn't vote. They went on the air and announced that the money is going to be printed by France. That bring a controversial thing in the African, I call it the ECOWAS.
So what does that tell you?
They said, okay, all of them have to pull out because this is not the agreement they have. So France was just trying to France was just trying to cause a confusion to slow down the money to come out, because they know if the money
tell you though,
money come out,
tells you that France stopped that effort, and they had the power to stop it because because
we are affiliated, as ECOWAS, we are affiliated with also our African brothers who are colonized by France. So you cannot, there's no shortcut about this, man. We have to work with our brothers, but if some of our brothers are backstabbing us, then what can we do? So make sure that we are all in the same team.
Listen. If that happened like that, that means clearly that France has enough power to be able to stop all the other votes. And
thank you. That's why Ibrahim Traore and Mali and Niger are fighting this fight, so that the rest of the French sellouts can stand up against France, so they can fix this issue once and for all.
What did Ghana
it's a
and Nigeria
process,
do?
My brother.
But what did Ghana and Nigeria do? Those are the biggest economies in the region. They did nothing.
That's what I said. So basically, ECOWAS is a sellout also. Yeah, ECOWAS is also a sellout because they are being lobbied by some of these entities from France. I understand what you're saying.
Right.
So it's complicated, brother. It's complicated.
It's complicated.
So why did you make a distinction between French and Anglophone colonize? I mean, at the end of the day, as it stands right now today, the power,
because the documents that they sign is different from what the English signed.
But it doesn't seem to have a play into
the
it doesn't matter.
The English own their own natural resources. The French don't own their own natural resources. It's owned by France.
Though, at the end of the day, if they sign different documents, if they sign the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization in 1947, 50, whatever, with Charles de Gaulle, they signed that, right? They were forced to sign that, right? They were forced, right? And the other countries, the former English colonies didn't sign it, yet they're all in a situation now where they're able to be intimidated, influenced, stopped by France. It doesn't matter what they signed. What they signed
So
different things.
basically, what I thought that should have happened, I think the English countries should have come together and create their own entity instead of ECOWAS. So that way, since they own their own natural resources, they could have made a much progressive path. And once the French colonies saw that they are making a progressive path, then they can join them. I think that should have been the best way for them to have gone. But by them coming all together, it's like you're bringing a spoiled fish with the good fish, and the spoiled fish is going to spoil all the good fish. That's what happened.
Well,
You bring
the good fish
the
is not all
French.
that good either, though. So the good fish, meaning the good fish, Nigeria and Ghana, for example, are not all that
But they
good
own their own
because
natural resources.
yeah, but they're
So that
they're
itself is
mismanaged.
a
They're also
economical
influenced.
freedom right there.
They're also influenced by the multinational corporations that are in Nigeria, in Ghana. Look at the deal they just made with the whatever that mine that they're doing, whatever. They only got 10%, and they should have got way more than that. That's just the kind of stuff
Yeah,
that we're doing.
it takes a little bit of step. We can't. It's like a child. You're not just gonna jump from sitting down to walking or running. You know, this is a colony that they have been building for a long time. So we have to take our steps.
In Niger, tell that to them because they like
strategy. We have to use strategies, my brother.
But you kind of contradicting yourself in the sense that on the one hand, you're saying this is the system, this is how it is. You can't change the system.
No, we can. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We can change it. But we cannot just jump off
by saying that, you can't change the system. This is how it is.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No. I'm a Pan-African myself. When
I go to Sierra Leone, I should get in where I fit in and slowly change it. That's what he's saying. I should slowly try to influence it.
You should use strategy. So that way you have to be like a sleeper cell. They will not be able to detect you. Because once they detect you, my brother, you're gonna be like Thomas Sankara, bro.
I'm gonna be like Ibrahim Traore, but that's my thing. So if they can make a confederation and make basically integrate their economy, their military, and whatever else they're gonna integrate, if they can do that, then other countries can join them and also align themselves with Russia, if that's the case, and China, if that's gonna help them to keep their security. But
I like your thinking. I definitely like your thinking. And that's exactly what Ibrahim Traore is doing with this new alliance. And that's exactly what people like us are calling for. So basically what you're saying, you are not wrong at all. What I'm just trying to say is that take your time so that they will not be able to detect you. You have to move like a sleeper cell. So that way it will be hard for them to detect our movements. If we're gonna make a move, let it be strategic. They should not understand. We should just surprise them. That's all I'm saying. But it was nice talking to you guys. You guys make a lot of sense. And basically, I have to go now, guys. It was a nice conversation that we just had.
Likewise, brother.
Likewise, bro.
Appreciate it.
So, Dinah, should we be moving to Burkina Faso?
If you want to.
Okay, that's a lot though. I don't speak French.
Yeah,
you learn French in 6 months.
Yeah, if you want to, why not? Let's see. We're going to close out. Anything else you guys want to share in closing?
No, I think we covered it, man.
All right, cool. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, down is Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.
Peace.